So just to recap, my name is Heather. We're going to be covering adding and editing listings today in your PropData Manage system. I am just going to share my screen with you. And this is my demo site, my main dashboard on my PropData Manage site. So I'm just going to get started. So on your main dashboard, there is a quick link to add a new listing as well as add a new valuation, which is the stage before you add a new listing. So I have added my valuation and I'm just going to show you from the valuation product how you can convert that valuation into a listing. So this is my valuation that I published and presented to my seller, and I was very successful in securing the mandate. So from my valuation, I can edit the valuation, and then there's a button to convert this to a listing. So this was my professionally customized branded valuation report. Not sure if you know about our add-on product, but this is obviously with your agency branding. You've got various options to customize. All the property details pull in from our Lightstone integration. You get the option to choose which properties to include that have sold in the area. You can customize it with pending sales in the area as well as currently for sale. Include suburb trends, the amenities from Lightstone, recommend and motivate your price range, as well as give yourself an agent profile on the report. So that's my professionally branded customized valuation report. I have secured the mandate and now I'm going to convert it to a listing. So if you do just need to add the listing, obviously you've got the quick link on the main dashboard or from the listing summary page. If you do have the valuations module and you start the process of your listing there, you can just convert it to a listing. So now I've converted. The status of my listing is valuation. I am going to change it to active. As you know, web reference is auto-generated if you leave that field blank. If you do want to capture your own reference numbers, you can capture information into that field. Tags is useful in our system where the field does not already exist. So if you have a lot of listings with a dam or our corner units or have JoJo tanks or solar panels, and you would like to look for those listings amongst your stock online, you can then tag your listings and then use that tag to search for your listings. This is an internal tool and tags can be set at an agent level or user level, agency level, as well as a branch level. So if you have a lot of listings that have a generator, you can tag your listings with generator. That is an internal process. The company details, if you as a user capturing this listing are allocated to more than one branch, you will have a drop-down box to select the correct branch for this listing, and then you have the availability to select which agents to include on the listing, and you can add up to 4 agents per listing. Obviously going to select the agents that are linked to the branch that has been chosen. Property details, this is where you would add your property details. Because I started my listing as a valuation, the Lightstone ID as well as the location have already pulled through, as well as the earth number from my location. This listing type is for sale. I can at this stage change it to let if that is my mandate. Property type I still need to select, and that is available from the drop-down box. My property is a villa. Just remember, in your PropData system, we have a host of additional property types. Let me just check that everything is all right and there's no errors. Everybody following me and can see and hear my screen? Just remember, Property 24 has 4 property types. That is a house, a flat or an apartment, plot or vacant land, or a townhouse. If you do choose one of the other property types available in your PropData system, such as villa, for example, just remember that will display on your PropData website, but when this listing gets to Property 24, it will be a house. The street number and street name should have populated from my valuation. But it's 65 Aqua Avenue. Just remember, I'm making this information up. If this property is a sectional title property, the unit number and complex name are required fields. Just quickly, I didn't mention, in our prop data system, all the fields highlighted with the pink line on the left-hand side are required fields. You do need to capture these fields in order to save this listing record. There's a host of additional optional fields that you can capture if you want to. The earth number populated from my Lightstone lookup. Sectional scheme, plan number, and section number are optional, and these do populate if you have looked up your property using the Lightstone lookup. The Lightstone lookup also should have mapped the property. I can map from the address, and then it will Google pin to the address. I can choose the suburb or the address. I've chosen the suburb. So I want to Google pin to the suburb, and I'm going to select suburb. And now I have a Google pin selected to this particular suburb. If you do choose the address, you can further have an option to publish the street address on your PropData website. That will then be 1B Smith Street published on your PropData website. But if you prefer to publish to the suburb, you can just select suburb, and then it will be the Google pin linked to the suburb. Just remember, this is a quality field. It enhances your listing quality if you do map your property either to the suburb or to the street address. The next field is listing details. Here you will see that the color-coded indicator is now purple. These are your quality fields. They are not required fields, but they do contribute to the quality of your listing and therefore the ranking of your listing on Property 24 and Private Property. When you do publish your listing to those paid portals, they score your listing based on several fields, these being some of them, and the better that your scoring is, the better that your listing will rank on the paid portals. You can see the land size populated from my Lightstone, from my valuation. If you do have the floor size, this is a freehold property, so you would need to work out the floor size of the house and then select the property title. There are a range of other optional fields. If this is a listing is linked to a development or estate and you have captured those developments or estates, you can link your listing to those developments or estates. So linking your listing to projects. Marketing heading is a quality field. It also is, so it's optional, but we do recommend that it is captured. It also has a 100-character limit. The description field is a required field as well as being a quality field, and we also caution against including any contact information in the description, as if the portals pick up a phone number or an email address in your description, they will block your listing on their portals. We do have a new add-on product called Clever Compose. It's linked to ChatGPT technology to assist you as agents in writing your marketing descriptions. There are 7 types of tasks available in this product: creating a marketing heading, rewriting your description, writing a new description, as well as writing some social media posts and fixing grammar. If you do have this product, I do recommend that we leave these blank and come back to this once we have added a few more features into our listing, as this product uses all the elements that we've captured for our listing in order to generate the marketing text. So I'm just going to leave those blank for now. We do have features and amenities available to be selected from a drop-down box. We've also color-coded them to let you know if the portals support these. So balcony, for example, is supported by Property 24 and Private Property. Blinds is only supported by P24. There is a cooling fans are supported by Property 24. Electric garage is supported by Property 24, and a deck is only supported by Private Property. If water is included. So it is an alphabetical list. If you use the drop-down, you'll have access to all the features and amenities available. You just need to type in the first couple of letters of your feature or amenity, and you can get to them what is available. If it doesn't exist, so if I've got solar panels on my listing, I can then create a new feature. This will then display on your PropData website, but not on the portals. So it is available to add additional features and amenities, but that will only display on your PropData website. Pricing is a required field. I have my valuation price pulled through from my valuation, and I have started marketing the property at 1895. We have the option for the price on application. If you do want to use that checkbox, we also have a checkbox for the no transfer duty banner if applicable to your listing. If your agency is registered with the bank distress programs, you do have the option to select distress sale or bank repossessed. Rates and levies here, you can see these are marked by purple. These are quality fields. They do contribute to the quality and therefore the ranking of your listing on the paid portals. Just going to stop for a moment and just see if there's any questions. None at this stage. Interior features here, these are all numbers. So we got bedrooms, study, dining room, bathrooms. We support half bathrooms, lounge and kitchen. These are all required fields. We do have a notes section that you can add a small note. It is a very short space that you can capture notes on any of these interior features. These notes, it's a 20 character limit. We do give you the count of your characters in your notes so you can see if you go over the 20 characters. And these notes will only be displayed on property 24 if you select them to be displayed. So the notes are not required, just the number of bedrooms, bathrooms is a required field, as is study. So if your property does not have a study, you do need to add in a 0. Laundry is an optional field, and flooring is a quality multiple select field. So you can have carpet and tiles on your flooring. There is a checkbox for furnished if applicable. And then we have our exterior features. So I've got 2 garages, 2 parkings, a patio, no flat. I do have domestic accommodation, a balcony. Parking type is a description and multiple select. Exterior is description and multiple select. I have a indigenous garden. Walling is fully walled, and I have a tile roof. So if you wanted, I also have thatch. So multiple select for these quality fields. These are all descriptive fields. Under the exterior features, you also have notes, which will display on property 24 if you want to. Just remember, it is a short field of 20 characters that can be captured. Then we have checkboxes for other additional external features. I've got a pool, security, and pets. So now that I've captured my interior and exterior features, I'm going to go back to my description and use my new product, Clever Compose. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to create a marketing heading. Click generate. I can't generate it because this is my demo site, so it's not up to date. But if I created, I would have an output. I would then just copy and paste that output into the marketing heading. Similarly, if I wanted to write a description, I could just click generate and the output would be in here. You just copy and paste it into your field. So I just need to create some description because I won't be able to save this listing without it. Let me just go back. Remember, we recommend a minimum of 250 characters, so I'm not a very good agent with my very ineffective description. So once we've used those features, I can then capture my mandate. If your mandate's a quality field, so it's not required. So if you do capture it and it is an exclusive mandate, the mandate end date becomes a required field. So I have the mandate until the end of June. I've got a range of other options that I can capture for under the mandate details. Something I've recently noted that if you do capture extremely high mandate commissions, your listings for some reason don't get published. So if your mandate commission is 110%, you're going to get 1 million rand. This is going to block the listing from being published for some reason. That has been a caution on our listings tools. We do recommend that you capture the seller details. This is already populated because I did capture the seller's details when I created the valuation. So that has pulled through into my listing. If there is a wife involved on this client, I can add an additional seller to this property. I can link any tenant contact records to this listing if the property is rented. If this property is a complex or sectional title unit, there's a host of fields available. They are all optional fields. The bank and bond details pulled through from my valuation from my Lightstone report, which is brilliant. If there were any specific viewing details that I needed to record for my listing, like phone the domestic worker on a specific day or only contact Mrs. Jones on a specific day, I can record that under viewing details. If I have any open hours to view the property, I can record that. If I have a show house, I can add a show day. The show date will be, where did it go? This Sunday, I'm having a show house from 10 o'clock in the morning till 12 o'clock. So not a very good time for show days on a Sunday. I think I'm going to rather do it on Saturday rather than on Sunday. That's my show day. Follow boards corner. I can enable offers on my website, on my listing on my website, as well as any auctions, as well as linking this listing to an external website if required. Any general property notes I want you to record, this is for internal use. I can record that under general property notes. Photos, I'm just going to stop a moment on photos. We highly recommend resizing your images before you start adding your listing or editing a listing. We recommend a photo size of 1920 by 1080. This keeps your photos in a high definition range, which is good for your quality score and therefore the ranking on the portals. You don't need to upload high resolution images for website marketing. So the high-res images are more than 1 megabyte per image. They're not required for website marketing. And in fact, Property 24 will automatically resize your images to the 1920 by 1080 size, unless they are smaller than that. So do resize your photos before you start. Then it's a simple upload process. You go and look for your images and you just add them to your property. When your photos are uploaded, you will see that we give you the size of your image in the top right-hand corner, so you can see what size they are. As you can see, this image is 6.8 megabytes. It's extremely high resolution, which is not required for your website marketing. We have a drag and drop process if you would like to reorder your images. Simple drag and drop, and it auto saves your image order. We also have a running total of your image size, the total size of your images against a 60 megabyte limit set by Property 24. PropData will upload any images that you pull into your listing. So if you do upload your high resolution images, we will upload them and store them and use them on your PropData website. But it's not recommended. We do recommend a high definition, not high resolution images. You also have the ability to set captions, which is very good for your SEO on your agency website. You can upload floor plans as well as website documents. So if you have sectional title rules or any compliance certificates or approved plans that you would like to link to this particular listing, you can upload them and those will display with your listing on your website. And there's a range of formats that are supported. We have a private documents section which will not display on the website, useful to store your seller and landlord disclosure documents if you want to. Under the videos, these are quality fields, so they add to the quality of your listing and therefore the ranking of your listing on the portals. For the virtual tour and iSpy, we need the full URL from the platform. For YouTube and Matterport, we just need the video ID. Those IDs are available in the URL. So when your service provider sends you your YouTube video, just look in the URL of that video. You will see the video ID after the equal sign in the URL. Same for Matterport. And then the last step of your new listing is to display on website. You will publish your listing to your website as well as feed to portals. It's a two-step process: display on website and feed to portals. Once you select feed to portals, the available portals will display underneath, and then you just toggle on which portals you want to display your listing to. Private property, you have the option to publish the street address on private property if you want to, and the same for property 24. You can publish the street address as well as publish your interior and exterior notes that you recorded on your listing. Just with regards to property 24, they do adhere to this expiry date. This is not the mandate expiry date. This is the expiry of the listing on their portal. If you leave this expiry date blank, it defaults to a 120-day period for sale and 6 weeks for rentals. This is when the listing will come off that portal. That time frame is 120 days of no activity. Activity includes price changes, new images, and a new marketing description. If you do make changes on your listing, that 120-day period extends. Otherwise, you can catch an expiry date, and that will be when your listing will be removed from the portal. Remember to click Save Listing, and then your listing will publish to your website and whichever web portals you have selected to publish to. Just going to stop for a moment and see if there are any questions. Kerry, Kasi, Janet, any questions? Anyone else that's with us today, do you have any questions? Please put them in the chat and I will answer them. So that is now my listing. On my listing summary page, as you know, it's the third module down, residential listing summary page. You will see that my latest listing is on top. If I wanted to make any changes, I would just select my listing and click on the edit button. You can hyperlink directly through to the field that you want to update. For example, if I wanted to change the price, I've done a price reduction, price counseling, I can just click on pricing details from the left-hand menu. Just going to get there. Thank you, Reese. So I'm going to pricing details. I'm going to reduce my price. It's now come down to 1.8. When that happens, you do have two new buttons that open up. There's a price reduced option. This is an optional field. If you do select this box, the price reduced banner will display on your PropData website and Property 24. Private property display the banner regardless of whether we select this button or not. And then there is an option if you are on our Webs Grow package and you do have clients that have signed up to receive direct marketing. If this listing matches their requirements, they will be alerted that there has been a price reduction on this listing and that it's automatically sent to any clients who've signed up to receive direct marketing from your branch. Remember to click Save if you have made any changes to a listing. From your listing summary page, remember if you are looking for a listing, you can use the keyword search. Any of the fields that are captured, you can use in the keyword search. Your listing summary page does default to active listings. You can use the drop-down box to select any of the other listing statuses. There is a quick link to add a new listing. That same form we've just gone through will open up. So either on the main dashboard, on your residential summary page, you can add a new listing. These are the default columns of your listing summary page. If you wanted to reorder them, you can just click on them and that will display them in a price order. You just click on the column. You can click on any of these columns to reorder them if you wanted to. I'm just going to, don't know how to get my, on date listed, I'm just going to click on date listed and get to the My Listing on top again. So these are the default columns of your listing. So there's my 65 Aqua. If you hover over the reference number, you will see a quick summary of the listing with an image. These are the default columns of your listing summary page: the address, web reference, date listed, the status, the branch, agent, listing type will be for sale or to let, the price, your website stats, and if this listing has been featured on your website or on your agency newsletter. We have the column generator, which allows you to customize your view of columns. You just click on it, reorder the columns, remove any columns you don't want, and add columns. If you wanted to see your Property 24 reference number, you can add that column in. I can remove, and now I've got the reference number of my listings P24 in my default view. If you do set up a custom view, you can name and save your view, and then you'll be able to toggle between the default as well as your own custom view of columns, and you can set as many column or custom views as you want to. They are dependent on the user setting up the particular custom view. We also have an advanced search feature on your listings. You can click on advanced search and then select any of these fields. If you're looking for all your listings that have a pool, all the listings that are on show, listings in a particular price range, you can use any of these criteria to search for your active listings. Once you've chosen your criteria, select search, and then the summary of the listings you are looking for will be displayed below. Remember, the listing summary defaults to a view of 20 with the latest on top. You can expand that to 50 or 100. We've got the refresh button on the top. We've got the listing sheet that you can download, a to let or for sale blank listing sheet that downloads an editable PDF document. And depending on your user group settings, you have access to reports and exporting information. So that's all the functionality around adding and editing a listing. If you wanted to check any information around your listing, you can select your listing and view the dashboard. From your listing dashboard, you can view the syndications, so you can see if your listing successfully syndicated, published to Property 24. This is my demo site, so it doesn't syndicate. You would have the portal reference number as well as the latest message from the portals, hopefully successful. And on the very right-hand side, there are quick links to view your listing on the portals if you have syndicated. There is also an option to just go directly to those quick links. If you go to the marketing tab, you will have a quick link to view your listing on your website, as well as any portals that you have published to, well, only Private Property and Property 24. From this marketing tab, you can also generate your agency branded brochure as well as a QR code for this particular listing. That option is also available from the dashboard of your listing. The marketing tab is still available. And in the center of your dashboard, you also have the brochure generator. You've got the ability to see your listings, quick links to view your listings on the portals, your syndication logs, as well as download a populated listing sheet. Any leads that you've received on this listing, the 3 latest leads will display on your dashboard. On the dashboard, you will see the agent as well as the sellers linked, or the contacts linked to this listing. And then you've got a graph of the lead sources. Remember, default to active, so always change it to all statuses so you can see where your leads are coming from, and any notes or actions linked to this particular listing. You've also got a summary on the top of your dashboard of the emails, leads received, any SMS or telephone leads received, if any prop data alerts have been sent or Property 24 alerts have been sent, where and how many views your listing has been receiving, and where, on which websites, and how many days it has been on the market. Again, you've got a quick link to view this listing on the website, and you can see I've got 4 photos linked to this listing. You can share your listing to social media. So your listing dashboard is available for each and every listing. it is a useful space to see all the elements of your listing that you could possibly want. The next tab along from the dashboard is the details of your listing. If you needed to just refresh yourself on the rates of your listing. As this listing started as a valuation, you will see the valuation details under the valuations tab. You can see when I published it, the client's details, so you can see. And if you wanted to view the valuation, there is a eyeball. You just click on the eyeball and it will take you back to your valuation. The Publish tab lets you know where you have published your listing. Again, quick link to view it on your website. You can see that you've published to Property 24 and Private Property. You can see that you've elected to publish the feature notes and the address on Property 24, and you can see the expiry date as well as on Private Property. Syndications is the syndication logs as well as the latest message and last update from the portals. If you receive any leads for this listing, remember a lead is an inquiry on a specific listing. Leads are linked to the listing. So from your listing dashboard, fifth tab along is the leads. So I'm just going to add a new lead. So you can manually add leads too. So if you get a phone call from a board, you can add a lead to your listing. However, any digital leads that come to you from the portals or from your website where the client has completed the contact form, that will be automatically pulled into your PropData system. So my lead is non-compliant. I'm going to search my contacts and see if the client doesn't exist. I would have to add them. A buyer on this listing, the source was a board. I'm the agent, client pulled from my board. So now I'm going to click save, and I have added a new lead to this particular listing. Now that I have a lead in my system, I can use my lead stage flow. So this is a built-in function for agents to use if they want to use the lead stage flow. Helps you manage your leads as they come into the system. A lead is an inquiry on the property. You can manage that lead by the lead stage flow. It is not the same as the contact record. So the lead comes in, the lead is linked to the listing. The contact record is a standalone record. So once I've spoken to George, I'm going to log communication. I phoned him. Is he interested in viewing? Yes, he is. We're going to view the property today. And I'm going to click submit. You're going to see my lead stage now changes to green, contacted, as well as blue. So I'm scheduled a viewing. A few days later, after the viewing, I am going to phone him. Is he interested in viewing again? No, he's not. I'm going to archive the lead. Client, no longer interested. So now I'll be able to see at a glance that I have dealt with this lead for George. Just remember, this is just the lead. George's inquiry on this specific listing. It is not the contact record. The contact record will record all of this information, but this particular lead can now be closed. The other option is to then log viewing. So after the feedback, is he interested? Yes or no? Maybe. Did he have any concerns? The size was a problem. Today was the viewing. If I had any notes to make, I would click submit. This is now stays on viewing, but we now have viewing feedback that's been populated that I can share with my seller or landlord. So in another few days, I would log communication. I phoned him. He's no longer interested, and I'm going to archive this lead. No longer interested in this property. So now I'm going to click submit, and my lead has been dealt with. Changes to black, which is archived. And all of that is recorded against that particular lead. I don't know why it hasn't saved. So that is just managing the lead stage flow and the various lead stages is contacted, viewing feedback. If the client makes an offer, you can record the offer. It stays on the offer stage as long as that offer is pending. If you change that offer to accepted, it changes to sold, which is always a great thing if the client buys your property, sold or rented. This lead stage flow works equally the same between rentals and for sale. Under the viewing feedback tab, you can see that I have now recorded, possibly interested, I have recorded feedback, which I can now share with my seller. Buyer matches, so as the leads come into the system, they are linked to the particular contact record gets created, and that lead is linked to the listing. We have the lead stage flow that we can use to manage our leads. A second step that happens is that a buyer or tenant profile gets created. We use the property that he inquired on, the area, the price, and the property type to generate that buyer or rental profile. When I do have a new listing, I can come and then match my listing to all the buyer profiles that are building in my branch database. Here I'll have a quick summary of how many matches there are, hot, mild, or cold. And if there are any matches, you would see them displayed under 90 days or less. You would have the option to send an alert to these clients of your new listing. So if they've already received the alert, you can't send it again. You can only send a new listing alert once. So there'll be a red button under alert send that you can then send if there are any matches, and you can use your agent discretion to decide whether you only want to send the hot matches, or if the suburb is the most important part, maybe you do want to send to the cold or mild matches for clients who are looking in this particular suburb. It's up to you as agents to decide if you want to only send alerts to people that are fully matched or partially matched to your listing. If there are any alerts sent for this listing, they are summarized under the alert sent page. You will see the client who received the alert and what type of alert they received. Contacts tab just lets you know the contacts linked to this listing, the agent, and the seller or landlord information. Media is where you would see your images and any documents or videos stored against this listing. You can again see the size of your images as well as the total of your total image size. You've got your tag, image caption, and if you wanted to download any images, you could select them and download those images to your own computer. Notes or actions linked to this listing, and then the activity is all the updates and changes made to this listing and by who and when. So that is your listing dashboard. The listing dashboard is available for all listings, residential for sale and to let, commercial for sale and to let, your holiday listings, and your project listings. Just remember, projects don't feed to the portals. They only feed to your PropData website. Projects are your developments and estates. However, we have just recently launched a feed to Property 24 developments. So if you do have developments captured on your PropData system and you are feeding them to Property 24, you can now do that from your PropData managed system. In the past, you used to have to capture them via Property Engine, via Property 24. So that is a new feature we've just added into our system. Okay, great. So that's everything around listings, adding and editing your listings dashboard, your lead stage flow that you can use, as well as managing the syndications. I can just reiterate, very important for you to check your syndication. So from your listing dashboard, you can view your listing on your website, and you'll have quick links to view your listing on the portals that you have published to. So you can see A, if it's been successful, and B, what it looks like on your listings. Also from your listing dashboard, you can see the leads as well as the color-coded lead stage. So otherwise, you can go through to syndications. There will be a quick link to view your syndications, but you may want to see the messages from the portals. Manage your leads via the leads tab, and remember to send in your listing to any matches on your branch against branch profiles that are building in your system. You can send your listing to everybody who has a profile matched in your branch. Are there any questions at this stage around adding and editing a listing, syndication queries, and your lead stage flow? Well, that's all from me today. Thank you very much for your time. Just remember this has been recorded and you will get a copy of this recording in a couple of hours' time. Next week, we are going to be covering the clients module, the management of your contacts, leads, and profiles. If you are interested in that module, please sign up for next week's session. Otherwise, that's all from me today. Once again, thank you for your time and enjoy using the system and the various tools available to you. Thank you. Goodbye.